Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And it's now time to take on Heroes Jubilee boss battles. And as you can see, I'm doing pretty well for myself. But that's because a lot of the tryhards haven't actually tried hard yet. So I do not expect to keep my #1 ranking. But it is nice to see, and at least to have it on video as documented proof that I did exist at one time at #1. Today's video is going to be focusing on Boss Battle 1. It's the AoE focused stage, and as all Jubilee boss battles go, if you don't have the full meta, you're kind of shit out of luck. So I apologize in advance, but I mean, I do a couple different teams here and there, but I mean, if you don't have Shinsha and Milim and Rimuru and Shion, you're going to be hurting quite a bit. So, protection gauge units up here. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. Alright, the full meta team for Boss Battle 1 looks like this: Shion, Rimuru, Diablo, Shinsha, and Milim, with the hero for the rewind. So, obviously, everyone here is the full meta. Like, this is the full meta, even bringing the free-to-play unit. And then the hero is here because I want to rewind on turn 2 and get, like, 24 guaranteed oranges or something like that is what it comes out to. So let's go ahead and jump in. This is the AoE stage, so you're really looking to prioritize the Rimuru ult and the Milim ult. Shinsha ult is nice to have, but it's not completely necessary. If you're going for like big sweaty tryhard damage, then it is necessary, but realistically, the Milim ult and the Rimuru ult are much more impactful for score. So here it's built for a Diablo giveaway to Rimuru. That's why he's up front. So turn 1, we're going to use the Diablo skill giveaway, and then we're going to, I think, leave it like this. So we're just going to send the 6 Rimuru, because it doesn't matter if we bring anybody else in, because they're not going to do anything. If there's protection traits, like maybe, but I want to make sure we bring Milim in for the person who has the most orbs, which is going to be Diablo. So, I mean, kind of, wait, hold on. Do I reset this run? I do reset this run. Okay, well, everything I said still applies. We're just going to fast forward a little bit. Okay, looks like I changed up the positioning on Rimuru and Diablo. I flipped them around. So we're still sending six Rimuru orbs. Sorry about that. See, I need to vet these videos more, huh? Oh well. 6 Rimuru, guards that last hit, not great. But here, alright, good hand. So we've got 2 Diablo, 2 Hero. We're going to rewind with the hero now. Both of them are coming out, though. So we're going to rewind. Boom. We're going to bring Milim in for someone I assume is going to have more orbs, which I just have to pray that it's going to be whoever I swap them out. So the hero. The hero generally has increased orb rates, right? Quote unquote. So we're hoping and we're banking on that. We're going to use the alt swap ability now to take away the Rimuru alt. We're going to use the future hand of oranges. And then we're going to use Shion to give us a full hand of oranges, and also give us the crit and synergy right here. So we've got 3 alts now, which is perfect, but I'm looking for more Shinsha and more Milim. So if we can get like 3 and 3 Shinsha Milim here, it would be perfect. Absolutely perfect. So the rewind kicks in, and we get 3, 2, 1, which I think is still enough. So we're going to use the attack buff, the Rimuru now, because it lasts for 2 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that actually does get us the EX ult for all 3 units right here, which is great. So we're going to go ahead and send this. We're going to have enough points next turn after Shion's skill kicks in to where we can use the Shinsha and Milim buffs. And full nuke here. 146k with a natural pierce, which is nice because we can actually pierce this stage. Cheeky counters are always welcome because it's just free damage. And now, even though we have, a 3 orange, we still have to use Shion because we need the crit and synergy, which is the unfortunate thing about her, is I wish her buffs lasted for 2 turns, so we didn't have to use her here, but it is what it is. So Shion will kick in, we'll get that, and then we'll send Milim first because she's giving physical attack to our allies when she nukes as her ult effect. So Milim does 350 across the board, Shinsha does 428, so that's why you're prioritizing Milim over Shinsha, and then Rimuru does 1.9, or 1.29, almost 1.3 million damage, and then his 200% orb, again naturally pierced for 237. And now, here's the unfortunate thing, is that we have a literal butt ton of Shinja orbs. I would have much preferred that to be a butt ton of Milim orbs, but it is what it is. But also, because we don't have a Shion, we can at least use the Rainbow skill here, and we can get a full 6-hand send, and we can bring Diablo in for Milim, since it makes no difference because she doesn't have any orbs anyway, and we can use his New Year's Blessing gauge buff skill, and that will allow us to get an alt for Rimuru and an EX alt for Shinsha, and that works out, I mean, fairly well, because it'll give us a Protector, max points, 2 alts right here. So again, like, that would have been better if it was Milim's EX alt, because it would have done really good AoE damage. But, you know, it is what it is. That's where, you know, fishing for that try-hard score is going to come in here. So here, 130 points. We have enough to use both Milim's skill and Rimuru's attack buff again. Unfortunately, it's not enough to use both the Milim and Shinsha skills, because it's too much cost. But it is what it is. Because, yeah, we would need, like, what, 5 points or something like that? Yeah, we would need an extra... No, we would need an extra 15 points. Sorry. Right? 15? 5. 5. We would need 5. Oh, well. If we had maybe Rimuru's trait, maybe it would have worked out, but 176 was Shinsha right there, and then Rimuru 352. The follow-up orbs gets us to 4.3 million damage, and that is my highest score right here. Again, there are ways to make it better, but it's all RNG. So this is a really good run. This is a really, really good run. And thankfully they don't do too much damage to us. So all turns finished, and our score ends up at 178. I firmly believe that if things really work out for you, you can probably get close to or break 200,000, but that's going to be a lot of RNG and probably some dupes into Milim and Rimuru, which I don't have. But I think it's doable for the people that have access to that. But there is the full meta. Let's now go to the half meta team. Alright, the half meta team. So we're bringing Shion, Rimuru, Diablo, bringing the hero again, and this time we're bringing Leon and Warrior's Mind Violet. So Leon will give the stacking light buff to Rimuru, Violet will give us the crit damage and the alt resistance down, and we'll be looking for an AoE alt with Diablo and the EX alt with Rimuru. Since we don't have the future hand of oranges, we don't have the alt swap, things get a little tricky here, so you're going to be only nuking realistically once, because you're going to get Rimuru's EX alt, use the light buff, and then send them away. And that's the only way really to do it. Leon's light buff doesn't affect Diablo at all, but at least Diablo does have, you know, that extra damage increase from Shion, so that's why you also want his alt. If you can get a hero alt, then, like, sure, go ahead, why not? But not really that important. But the giveaway to Rimuru here, just, you know, still to get his guaranteed alt plus, like, another half of his gauge or something like that. We're going to run it like this, and then 3 guards in a row is also not great, but it is what it is. Turn 2, we get pretty lucky here. So we could use Shion here, or we could just use the Rainbow Orb and the Rewind, and then we can then use Shion on, like, the Rewind turn, and then we could make things work a little bit more, make it a bit better, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to use the Rewind, the Rainbow, and the Gauge increase, since all these orbs are New Year's units, so it works out very, very well. The hero doesn't really need to be up here anymore. Leon needs to be up here, not for Diablo, for the hero. So that after the Rewind is over, we can use Leon's light buff and send Rimuru away. So here, gets his EX alt, gets a double Shion gauge, which is awesome. And now on the Rewind, we're free to use the light buff and then send Rimuru away, therefore eliminating his alt from the field, and then we can use Shion for a full 6-hand. So here's the attack buff, or not. Okay, we don't do that. I thought I was going to do that, but we also need to use the attack buff. So here, we're just going to send Rimuru orbs then. Boom, boom, boom. So since it lasts for 2 turns, we're still going to have it. Now we can use Leon's light buff, and now we can send him away and use Shion. So there's the EX, there's the light buff, Rimuru goes away for the hero, or Violet, doesn't really matter who. Sure, the hero. And then we'll use Shion to give us a full hand, of oranges. This will get Diablo's, probably get his EX ult, or very close to it. But that's the important thing, is also getting Diablo's ult, because you want him to be buffed. Yeah, it gets an EX ult for him, which is nice, because that means we can send an ult next turn as well, and not have to worry about it, because we're still going to have one in reserve for the actual nuke turn. So, I mean, that's an interesting hand right there. Greens are not nerfed on this stage, but I really couldn't think of a good green team to use to begin with, so I end up just doing this. We just are sending the Diablo orbs and the ult. We got a whole bunch of Leon, because I'm planning on bringing Rimuru in for Leon, and the more orbs we have for him means the more normals that we have for him. And there we go. We have one orb for the hero. Honestly, it doesn't matter, because we just need to bring Violet in for her buff. So Rimuru in for Leon, Violet in for the hero. We don't need to use the... I mean, we do use the crit buff, actually, for the crit resistance down, and we still have enough for the hero buff. So that works out fairly well. And then we'll go ahead and buff, and then use Xion to give ourselves the crit synergy. We don't need to use anything else here, even though we have 25 points. Like, it wouldn't matter. And here we go. So Diablo, Rimuru, Violet, Rimuru. And Diablo does 81k, which, you know, is respectable for a free-to-play unit. 1 million with Rimuru, and then 86, 89. Yeah, that looks pretty good right there. So 181k damage, and we broke 2 million. So, I mean, it's not bad. Certainly not, you know, tippity-top damage, but it's not the full meta, so you shouldn't expect tippity-top damage. 2 million is a respectable score for a half-meta team. And again, if you don't have Violet, you could bring Raphael or something, or you could bring some other kind of buffer that would help benefit your team. Some kind of ult resistance down in some way, shape, or form. But there we go, 94.2k total score. And let's move on to the sad teams, I guess. Alright, it's built for turn 1 steal, so we're going to bring a team that has a stealer. So we've got the Goddess of Destiny team that, you know, just had their rerun. Maybe you have them, maybe you don't. It's definitely not a super high scoring team, but it is a team that works because they do also get extra damage versus dark characters. But unfortunately, all the enemies have significant magic resistance, so your damage automatically is cut by a lot, actually. So we're turn 1 gonna steal this into a full 6. We're gonna take Trya into the back. We're gonna bring Sokka, or not Sokka, but, well, both Sokka and Rain up front. Oh, maybe not Rain. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We don't have the rewind. We have the Hero 2.0 for the ult swap ability instead. I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but, you know, here we are. So 52 points because we have a skill point trait unit. We have, I think, Water Hinata underneath Rain, so that allows us to use the ult swap and then the steal again, and then we'll bring Sokka in. We'll use the follow-up orb plus guaranteed crit on magic. This will get the Shuna EX ult, and then honestly, you're just looking for like a Sokka ult or something. If you can manage to get a Rain and Sokka ult somehow, then by all means, have at it. But obviously you're not going to do super great damage here because of that magic resistance that they put up on turn 1. So here, I mean, it looks pretty good. We have a few orbs. So we're going to bring... see, I make a misplay here. So we're going to use the light buff, and then, well, the Shuna buff, sorry, and then the green buff from Rain. And then what I do here is I should have brought Trya in for Rain, but we end up doing this instead. So we change that first and then do that. It gave us 5 greens. Not great. There were ways to get around this. Since I'm not really bothered by a Rain ult, I shouldn't have been so hesitant to not swap her out. But it is what it is. We got to live with it. So let's see. I could have maybe used the ult swap ability again from the hero, and then done the change, and that would have probably worked out a little bit better. But it would have been 2 oranges still. So I don't know. Because the blue was the one that came in. So I don't know if that would have worked either. But we send 5. Follow-up orbs do some damage here. 12k, 12.9k. We do get quite a few Soka orbs. I mean, that's nice. But it doesn't really leave us a lot of room to do anything else. We just need maximum points, and we need a mirror engage for the nuke turn. So we get a normal ult with Soka. We have an EX ult with Shuna in the back. We have enough points to use all of the other buffs now. So we can swap Trya out for the hero, use her debuff, and then bring Shuna in, and then use the Rain and Soka buffs. I mean, technically it works, I guess. It gets you an S rank at least, right? So there's the debuff plus the orb damage. And then, unfortunately, we only have one nerfed Shuna orb, which is, I think, is the only really bad thing here. But magic buff, attack buff. It's the full 45% attack buff as well from Soka because everybody is on Goddess of Destiny here. So there's the guaranteed crits and the follow-up. So AoE, single target, and then the 2 oranges. So Soka does 69, nice. Shuna does 435, which is okay. It'd be better if we had, non-nerfed Shuna orbs. 86 on the giant follow-up. And that puts us at a final score of 1.2 million, which, is actually higher than I expected it to go. But it's still not uber duper good. So there we go. There's the Goddess of Destiny team. We have one more team to show off, and then you're on your own. But let's do that. Alright, the final team I have for you is a sad little Towa team with Light Raphael and Light Milim. Maybe you pulled them from the New Year's tickets, maybe you picked them with your selector. Either way, they were, wouldn't say given away, technically they were given away for free, at least one of them was. But Towa has been in the banner forever, Diablo is free to play this month, Leon has been in the banner forever, so is the hero. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's super, free to play friendly, but they are more available than, the new EX characters. It's just that, one, the stage has a lot of magic resistance, so you already don't do that much damage, and the team doesn't, I wouldn't say run super efficiently because of oranges and their just inability to cycle themselves without just a literal shit ton of buffs. But thankfully, Diablo does give away orbs to New Year's units, and Rimuru Raphael is a New Year's unit, so we can definitely do that. And then we're going to bring Milim and Leon in, since they, I believe, do both have protection gauge on turn 2 units underneath them. Yeah, so Diablo. We're gonna leave the hero here because we need the rewind next turn, but it is what it is. So 6,300 damage on those normal orbs. It will go significantly down once they activate their magic resistance. So there you go, right there. So now we're not going to do nearly as much damage. We also don't have an alt swapper, so we're going to have to live with this Raphael alt. But at the same time, we don't need EX alts either. So, I mean, we could just take Raphael away here. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the alt for both him and Milim, and then bring Leon in and use the light buff. So here, we have a full hand of New Year's Blessing characters, so we can use the New Year's Blessing gauge buff, and that'll help us. We're going to get another Raphael alt, so we're going to go and send it anyways, because I think we get an EX alt here, essentially. So we sacrificed one to get 2. I mean, it's funny how it works out like that, but it definitely does. 11k, yeah, there's the EX alt. So now we rewind. Now we should have another Towa, but the hand does not work out for us, unfortunately. So I think what we do is we bring Leon in for Diablo, and we just kind of deal with it. Do we? Do we do that? Yes, we do that. Alright. So obviously, Milim being the AoE will do pretty good damage. The single target, I mean, can be effective, but it's not super duper effective. But it's only turn 4. Right? Or it's only turn 2, technically. Right? Yeah. 3. Turn 3? Turn 3. It's turn 3. So we have a few more turns to build up to the Milim ult. So we're going to just run it like this. We're going to get Milim's ult here. And then we can go ahead and use the light buff and send both of them away. So we're going to Towa here, I think being the keyword. Yes, all right, so we'll Towa here. We'll send the Raphael ult because obviously we have so much of it that we don't. I don't care. But more importantly, we're gonna get the Milim ult. So then on, with 2 turns left to go, we can swap both Raphael and Milim away, who already have the light buff applied to them. And then on the nuke turn, we can bring them back in, and then use either like the ult resistance down or the attack buff with Milim with also the light buff. So, or the light resistance down debuff is what I'm talking about. So there you go, the light buff is active, we'll get both of them out. We have a lot of skills that we can use here, and not a lot of points to do such things with them. Because the blues are nerfed, we can't really get a lot of protection gauge. If you can get a double Towa, I mean, that's awesome, because that would mean you could use 3 55-point skills on the nuke, which would work out very, very well. But we don't get that lucky. We have 1 Towa. So we can only use 2 big time buffs. So now you have to make the decision of, do you want the crit? Do you want the attack? Do you want the pierce and the ult resistance down? You already have the light buff. So nobody is stunned here, so we can't use the stun strike ability. It wouldn't do anything for us. But, I think I end up doing the crit and the attack buff with Milim. But here also we could just, leave Diablo, and then we can just use the attack buff and the ult resistance down. So depending on who has an ult and what's going on, you have some options here. I should have probably just swapped out the hero and not gone with the crit buff and used other things, but I don't. So we do the attack buff, light resistance down, Towa for... Oh shit, did we have that option? We may have not had that option. No, yeah, we did, because Diablo had an orb, and we have so many hero orbs. So, variances can apply here, but now we use the ult resist, we use the crit buff and the light buff and the attack buff from Milim. So 112 right there on the single target is not great. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. I'm tired. 44.8k on the 200%. It's not what I would call incredible, but we broke 500,000 damage, which is certainly an S rank. So there you go. There's 4 teams that you can use for Jubilee 33 Boss Battle 1. Hopefully they helped you out. If you have any other team suggestions, please put them below. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.